Welcome back to the Lab Trainers to another episode of Saccharum Versus. My name is Professor Saccharum, and today I have another GBA match between the Indianapolis Keldeos and Duffy, who is, I believe it's the St. Louis Rampardos. I'm not 100% sure, but Rampardos is the mascot of this man's team. As you can see on my team, I'm sporting the Flygon, the Klefki, not Flygon again, Mr. Mime, Donphan, Lopunny, and this time Pikachu again, but it's a different Pikachu this time. And Duffy is sporting the Victini, Rampardos, Mew, Lucario, Alomomola, and Gardevoir. So without further ado, let's get this battle started. And this was actually a battle I was really looking forward to because the last time I had faced Duffy prior to this match, I had actually lost that battle. So this was a time for me to get some redemption. As I do decide to lead off with Flygon, he does decide to lead off with Churchill, which was actually really good for him. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play it safe or I wanted to play hardcore, so I did decide to just go for, I believe this was a Choice Scarf Earthquake, not doing too much. Actually, no, this was probably a Choice Banded Earthquake now that I'm looking back at the damage. It's been a while since I've seen this battle as well, as he does decide to switch into Mew and take that, but he does end up going for the Ice Beam, being faster than me. Does manage to knock out my Flygon there. So Flygon unfortunately went down in the first turn, but this is actually not too bad, not too bad. I still ended up getting a good chunk of damage off of that Mew, which was actually really scary because I had no idea what it was going to do, as I do decide to bring in Mr. Mime right here to take any sort of special hits as my special wall, as he does decide to go for the Sludge Bomb. I do believe I did decide to go with Soundproof this time, just because that Mega Gardevoir was there and I was afraid of Hyper Voice, as I do go for the Shadow Ball, which is going to do enough to be able to 2-hit KO it from the HP that it's at. I was actually really afraid that he'd be able to crit me next turn and then knock out my Mr. Mime, but he does not do so. But he does end up getting me poisoned, which I believe it was just the regular poisoning too. It wasn't even the toxic poisoning, which was actually okay because it's not going to be increasing. As I do go for the Shadow Ball again and manage to knock out the Mew, which was really, really good for me because I had no idea how I was going to end up taking care of that Mew otherwise. So one big threat down, as he does decide to send in Snoop, the Lucario, which I just realized what it is now. It's a Snoop Dogg. So very nice there. As I do decide to switch into Mascot, the Donphan, just to take a Bullet Punch, because I knew that was coming, because a Stab Bullet Punch would have been able to cleanly knock out Mr. Mime, but I still needed it in the back just in case, as he does decide to withdraw Snoop as Donphan comes in. I saw this as my opportunity to go for Stealth Rocks right here, as he does end up switching into Kanye West, the Alomomola. Not sure why it's nicknamed Kanye West, but I do love that nickname, as I saw previously in his match that he had before. And I am getting my HP back with leftovers, but because I don't want to take a potential Scald, I do decide to switch out into Klefki just to take it very nicely, as he ends up going for the Toxic with his Kanye West, which is actually really, really good here, as I do make a misplay here and go for Spikes, not realizing that Alomomola carries Magic Coat, and he does end up going for it and bouncing the Spikes back onto my side of the field. So seeing as the Magic Coat was there, I'm actually not going to go for another layer of Spikes, as he does decide to go for it again, trying to see if he could trick me, but I do decide to go for Light Screen in case he does have that Scald on his side of the field, and I just bit my tongue. That was not fun. And he does decide to switch out here, and I do believe I decided to go for my other Reflect in case he just wanted to try and catch me on that, just so I had all my screens up. And as I do so here, and he does switch into Churchill, which was scary because he does have physical moves on this, I believe, as well as some special moves. So I do decide to switch in Klefki here because I do not want to take a Stab V Create, and I do decide to go into Mascot just to take any sort of fire type move that I probably saw coming, as he does go for the Blue Flare and release that he is a special attacker, which was actually very terrifying for me because I didn't want to lose Mascot right away, as he does decide to withdraw Churchill, not wanting to take an Earthquake, as because it was a Psychic type as well. I decided that this would probably be my better play, and I do decide to go for the knockoff just to potentially knock off the item that I had, do a ton of damage, and if he did decide to switch, I would knock off the item on anything else, as he does decide to switch into Kanye West, and I knock off its leftovers, which was really beneficial on my side right now, as he does decide to switch his Kanye West out into Churchill. In the same turn that I do decide to switch in, I believe I did decide to take a switch here into Klefki, predicting that he might go for Toxic again, which was really scary because he outplayed me right here. But I just had to kind of keep going, so I do decide to set up my Spike layers here, at least get one set up, because I was going to be able to get one safely. as he does go for the blue flare, which is going to bring me down to a low HP of 18, but because I have my light screen up, I am able to go for a second layer of spikes very nicely, and just have my hazards around for the rest of the match, which is going to be very beneficial and very useful later on, as he is going to knock my Klefki out with a blue flare there. So there was always that, and I do decide to go for Lopunny right here because I realized that a fake out return combo would be able to knock out this this Victini, which is going to be very helpful because Victini, another scary Pokemon on this man's team. There were a lot of Pokemon in here that I actually was really afraid of. So I do decide to go for the fake out here and be able to flinch and bring it down to, even though that crit did, I don't know if that crit really mattered because the return would have been able to knock it out regardless, but the crit just made it a little bit easier and a little bit less HP, I guess, that return had to take out. So Victini goes down here, and the Reflect actually wears off this time around, as he does send out Hyuna, the Gardevoir, which scared me a lot, but I realized, I had a feeling that Gardevoir wasn't going to be physically bulky enough to take a hit upon Mega Evolving because the stats won't change right away. As he does decide to go for the Mega Evolution right here into his Mega Gardevoir, which would be able to take me out with a pixelated Hyper Voice, but with a return coming in, you will see that, unfortunately for him, I do land a critical hit. He did say that he was max defense for return, or at least calc defense for return, but I'm not sure if he calced for Mega Gardevoir or for regular Gardevoir, because I don't believe Gardevoir on its own would be able to take a return from Lopunny, especially a max friendship. As he does decide to go for the Protect here, as Lopunny was kind of clean to sweep at this point, as I do go for the high jump kick, and because he protected, I'm now going to be crashing and burning and taking a lot of HP off of me. He does decide to go for the Bullet Punch, hoping that it would be enough to knock me out, but I do live with 7 HP, and go for the high jump kick, land it luckily, and manage to knock out the Lucario, so that is down now 2. But unfortunately, Lopunny is not probably going to be able to sweep at this point, just because I had such low HP. And the Kanye West Alamamola, sorry for the little stutter, does come out, and I do go for the return, hoping that I'd be able to knock it out, but it is a very defensive Pokemon. So he does decide to go for Toxic here, revealing that he is actually only a Toxic set, so probably having another Steel type would have been very beneficial in this match, just because he would not have been able to knock it out with Alamamola, and would have stalled him out there, but he does end up knocking out Mega Lopunny, which is okay, because I do have Pikachu in the back, which is clean to sweep for the rest of the team, because all he has left is this Alomomola and the Rampardos. He does go for Protect, trying to see what I'm going to do, as I do reveal that I'm a physical Pikachu, going for the Thunder Punch, and that it is going to be able to actually knock out the Kanye West from that range. That is not a crit, that is nothing, that is just really good damage for the Light Ball Pikachu. As he does decide to send in Zidane here, which means that hazards were actually very important, because if this was the Focus Sash variant of Rampardos, I could have been in trouble, but I did have another 2 Pokemon in the back to actually take care of this if that were the case. I do go for the Meteor Mash, which I realized after the battle was not as powerful as Iron Tail, but it was, I believe, more accurate, so that was my safer play right there, and it does land me the win for another GBA match. So I've been on a little bit of a winning streak here, as you can see so far, but a good game, Duffy. I really appreciate it. You were really someone I was looking forward to battling in the GBA, so I'm really glad I had the opportunity to do so. And I hope you guys enjoyed this battle too. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. And be sure to check out the description where I have my Twitch, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and all the fun stuff. I actually believe I do leave the Facebook page linked to the GBA as well, so you can keep up with all the news there as well and see who's up against who and what matches, and it's going to be really cool. We're coming actually really far in right now. This is actually a couple weeks behind, but I hope you guys stick around. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, so I will see you guys next time when you visit the lab. Bye!